to Oh When the Town with Luke Gregory.
Hello and welcome to Oh When the Town, and here's what's coming up today. Jack Stacey joins us to look back at what was an incredibly memorable league title winning season.
And then everyone around us in the three rows above and below were suddenly invested in this Portsmouth game, even though we were at Tottenham versus Ajax.
We also look back and discuss some of the best moments of that season.
No, I know the one game that really stood out for me, and I said to you, I think I said to you all, I think the thing that turned it for us was that victory over Oxford in the last minute.
We also answer your Instagram questions and loads more. And tonight, I am joined by Bataro, Steve and Dave across Zoom. Evening, boys.
Evening. Good evening.
All right.
You're good.
Yeah, getting by.
So,
hopefully coming to the end of this lockdown, so we're getting there.
Well, everyone has been loving the hype around this Jack Stacey interview. So I wanted to start the podcast off today by getting straight into that Jack Stacey interview. So here's what he had to say about last season's promotion-winning year. Well, Jack, thanks for joining us. It's just over a year since Luton won promotion to the Championship. I want to know what you were up to the night it was all confirmed, and how did you find out the result in the end?
Yeah, well, I was actually at a Tottenham versus Ajax game with my dad, because I remember Portsmouth were playing. I think they were playing Peterborough that night. We didn't really give them much hope, to be honest. We thought Portsmouth would win that, and it will all go down to our game against Oxford on the Saturday. So we hadn't planned anything, and then I was at the game, and me and my dad were saying, "All right, we're not going to check the score. We're not going to check the score." Looked at half time, and I think it had a chance, and then he sort of mentioned to a few people around us, and I said to him, "Stop! Don't look!" And then everyone around us in the three rows above and below were suddenly invested in this Portsmouth game, even though we were at Tottenham versus Ajax. And they were telling us, "Oh, Peterborough just scored. I think it was 3-2 the score." And then from then on, I was just refreshing my phone. I forgot I was even at a game. And I remember it went into the Luton group chat, and we said, "Listen, lads, let's meet up in London straight away. Like, we've got to celebrate this." So we all met up with each other. Obviously, we knew we had a game on Saturday, but we celebrated that night. So yeah, it was a great day.
That definitely was a great evening. So you got the whole squad into London. It wasn't far for you, obviously, if you're at Tottenham, but whole squad into London, a few drinks.
Yeah, we all met up. A few drinks. We had the Wednesday off anyway, so yeah, we met up. We had a few drinks. You know, it was a bit of singing and stuff. It was all good. It was a great night.
It was one of them games, that Peterborough-Portsmouth game, because Portsmouth had taken the lead with that offside goal, because I got a text through on my phone saying Portsmouth 3-2, and I was like, "Oh, well, that's that then. That's going to go down to Saturday." And I get a text seconds later saying disallowed now Peterborough 3-2, and I was just like, what's even happening?
Yeah, I remember that as well. It's crazy, but yeah, it was brilliant.
It was a mad game, mad season as well, really. I don't think any Luton fan would have predicted what happened that season. At the start of the season, was there any talk of that could potentially happen? Or was it, we can survive in League One?
You know what? When we were away in Slovenia at the beginning of the season, we had a group goal to come together, and we said we wanted to make the playoffs, and that was our goal. I remember Sonny Bradley saying actually that he'd just come from Plymouth, who had just missed out on playoffs the year before, I believe. And he said the squad that we had was easily capable of just as good as the Plymouth squad and capable of getting to the playoffs. So, you know, there's a few of us that hadn't played at League One level before, but the ones that had saying, "Listen, we've got a real chance." I think even the way that the game's played at this level is slightly more suited to our style of play. So let's aim for the playoffs and see what we can do. So that was our aim from the beginning, yeah.
And with that first half of the season, obviously it was a bit of a tough start to the campaign. And, you look at League One in terms of teams, 3 big teams in Portsmouth and Sunderland and Peterborough. So it was quite a tough start. But I kind of feel like the start of the season went a bit like under the radar, because there were some big results in there, like the 5-1 win against Plymouth, followed by 4-0 against Bradford. And that 2-1 win away at Oxford was the first away win of the season. Like, I guess at that time, that must have been a big confidence boost, because that came in like the 97th or 8th minute, I think, from Dan Potts.
Yeah, definitely. I think obviously the first 3 games were like a baptism of fire, really. We played one of the 3 biggest teams, one of the leading teams that we knew were going to be up there. And obviously from the outside, the results weren't the best, but I think within the club, and I think even supporters knew that we'd performed well enough to be able to compete with these teams. Obviously, we hadn't got the results, but strangely enough, that did actually give us the confidence that we could compete in this league. And like you said, it sort of helped us because we were under the radar from there, despite some big results. And I think that Oxford game was massive, first away win, and it sort of was in the middle of or the start of a really good run where we just seemed to keep moving up the table.
And it got just more positive as the weeks went on. The unbeaten run started, and a lot of fans talk about the togetherness of the team, and they just felt, I think everyone felt together last season, and obviously that grew a lot stronger when Nathan Jones left, and we had that Sunderland game, and it was Mick's first game in charge. What do you feel like, the togetherness of the team and the squad from that Sunderland game? Do you reckon it grew from there?
Yeah, for me, that Sunderland game was one of the most important of the season. It was a massive game away from home. Just lost our manager. I just remember before the game, walking over to the fans, and despite being up in the gods, it was an unbelievable sound, and it sort of showed everyone, all right, listen, the team, just, no matter how good a job the manager had done, the team and the squad and the fans have to come together now, and we can still achieve what we want to achieve. And then we put in a good performance that day, and that was sort of the start of another run.
Do you feel Mick Harford had a massive impact on keeping this togetherness with the squad?
Yeah, massive. I've said it before, I don't think there's any other man that could have done the job that Mick did, that Mick came in and did. It wasn't about changing us tactically, personnel, because we knew we had that. It was just about the togetherness, morale, keeping the squad together, and Mick was the perfect man to do that.
And I don't think you can talk about that season at all with arguably without the standout game. We asked the fans of the podcast the standout game. They've all said the Portsmouth one. What do you remember from that night, really? Because the snow was all over the pitch at Kenilworth Road. It's probably the best first half we've ever seen from a Luton team, some have said.
Yeah, I think, like you said, that I remember snow on the pitch. It was the end of I think January was a very tough run of fixtures for us, and this was sort of the final test of that. And we've, if we could overcome tonight, if we can beat Portsmouth, we've given ourselves a real chance. The first half, just everything came together. I don't think Portsmouth were really ready or expecting the quality that we brought that night. And then, obviously, second half, they came back into it, but they were a good team, so they're always going to come back into it. It was up and down, and then obviously the George Moncur free kick was just, it was an unbelievable night. And like you said, it's probably one of my favourite memories from that season as well.
When that ball hits the net, because it's quite hard for a fan to try and figure out what that just feels like and sounds like when you're on the pitch. Like hearing that roar when that ball hits the back of the net and seeing George just run over to that tunnel and do the slide on his knees. I think you joined him in the celebrations as well. Like, what does that feel like as a player? Are you just lost in them emotions?
Yeah, I think in those times, it feels the same to a player as it does to a fan. You just, like you said, lost in the emotions. I was running around aimlessly, and then I'm sprinting after George Moncur. It's obviously such a good feeling, and it's the same as any fan. You lose your emotions, really.
Do you think playing in the snow had any impact on the game? Did it change the game plan, or was it we go out there and we do what we normally do just in the snow?
Yeah, it didn't change the game plan at all. The pitch is actually very slick, so if anything, it almost helped us pass the ball and pass through Portsmouth. So yeah, we didn't do anything differently. We knew if we could play at our best and we could beat them, and we did. And
I guess then that did just set it up, and I think that's a stage where a lot of Luton fans believed that this could be a positive season. Because I think being a Luton fan, a lot of them would agree that you can never get too excited because things happen. And it got into that stage of the last 5 game season. The unbeaten run at Charlton came to an end. And then there was them 2 games, Wimbledon, the draw, and the Burton defeat. Would you say there was any nerves in the squad going into them final, 5 or 6 games of the season?
I feel like we'd gone from a position of chasing to then we were at the top for a long time. And of course, you can't win every game and go unbeaten for such a long time, but because we weren't used to losing, maybe there was a bit of a slip up. Even the performance against Charlton wasn't the best, but against Wimbledon, I thought we played well. We were unlucky not to win. And so you're thinking maybe this is not for us. But to be honest, I felt like we were always going to get the job done. It was a little slip up, but in the end, obviously, we did.
And then I guess it just comes down to that Tuesday, Wednesday night, whenever it was, Peterborough and Portsmouth played, and the promotion being confirmed. And I guess that meant Saturday when we played Oxford, it was less pressure of, going to have to win for promotion, and it was, let's just go get the title. Yeah,
I mean, obviously after the Burton game, we were just so focused on that Oxford game. It was all up from, probably the final whistle at Burton. We looked at the table, etc., and all focus was on the Oxford game. And then, like you said, the Tuesday night, it happened. We got promoted, and it took a little bit of pressure off. But from then, it was, okay, lads, we believe we've been the best team in this division. We feel like we should be worthy of being champions. So let's go out there and get the champion. So we're fully focused, still obviously on winning the game against Oxford, just with a little bit of the pressure taken off.
And that just capped, I guess, just a wonderful season. And for you, your 2 seasons at Luton, you've won promotion in the first, won the league in the second. How would you sum up them 2 seasons of being a Luton player?
Yeah, of course, if I look back now, it's unbelievably happy memories. 2 successful seasons where I feel like I developed along with the club. And when I joined, the aim was to get the club back towards the right path and where it deserves to be. And I think hopefully I helped to achieve that.
And a player you had a pretty good partnership with during your playing times at Luton was Shinnie. It seemed to be whenever he got the ball, it would always be towards you, and it'd always be like the assist of the assist, or maybe him assisting you for a goal. Like, that partnership just seemed to work so perfectly.
Yeah, he's such a good technical player, but also so an intelligent footballer. So for me, it meant that I knew if he had the ball, I could make the run and it would be seen. Whereas, sometimes players might not see you or might not want to see you, so you don't end up making the run. So it was just a combination of things. Unselfishness as well from him, where he would, like you said, assist to the assist. He doesn't get any credit for that, apart from the Luton fans and people that understand the game. But it's just credit to him really that we ended up forming such a good partnership.
And you still staying in touch with some of the boys at Luton?
Yeah, I speak to quite a few of them. Over this time, it's quite interesting to know how other teams are dealing with, what's going on and how they're staying fit. And obviously, throughout the whole season, I've been keeping an eye on the Luton results and messaging after games and just getting to know what's going on.
Well, for you personally, being in the Premier League's been, I'm sure, a highlight of your career so far. How have you found your first season in the Premier League, or so far, I guess you could say?
Yeah, I mean, I've come in for periods of time, played, I felt like I've done well, and then lost my place either to injury or another player coming in. So it's been up and down, but I felt like I was improving with every game, getting used to it's a massive step up in intensity, but I felt like I was adapting to that. So yeah, I'm just excited to get back playing really now.
I was going to say, what's the step up like then from being just a League One, League Two player, I guess, 2 years ago to be in Premier League? That it must be a big step up.
Yeah, of course. I mean, first of all, is intensity. The physicality of the league is probably one of the most physical in the world. So there's that, and then the caliber of the player you're up against. You have to focus for a solid 95 minutes. Maybe at times at Luton we were 3-0 up, wherever. And the last half an hour you could take your foot off the gas a little bit, but no, not in the Premier League.
So who would you say the toughest player you've faced so far then in the Premier League is? There must be a few. Yeah,
there's been a few. Everyone poses different threats, but I think the two for me were probably Son at Tottenham and Mane for Liverpool, just because I think there's the relentlessness. They're always looking to make runs in behind. Sometimes in League One or League Two, you can do a job on a winger in the first half or the first half an hour, and you've got him for the day. Whereas Son and Mane, I felt like I did well to start with them, but that doesn't deter them. They keep trying to get in behind, keep trying to get the ball, and just the confidence and the physicality of them both was probably the best two I played against.
Well, I certainly wish you luck then when the season resumes, or if and when it does, I guess. And hope Bournemouth can push for survival, and I guess we hope we see you at Kenilworth Road maybe in the future, Jack. It'd be great to see you back there.
Yeah, obviously I was gutted. I was injured for the FA Cup game against Luton. It would have been great to obviously see all the players and play in front of the fans again. But I'd love to be back at Kenilworth Road. I've come to watch a few games this season, so hopefully I can carry on doing that. And obviously Luton will always have a place in my heart.
Perfect, Jack. Thanks so much for chatting us today, and best of luck for the future.
Thank you, Luke. Really appreciate it.
And we just want to thank Jack Stacey for joining us for that interview. Honestly, such a down-to-earth guy. We wish him all the best for the future. And you never know, hopefully, guys, see him back at Kenilworth Road, maybe even on the pitch sometime in the future.
I was going to say maybe when he's 38 or something, we get him back. Maybe.
Jack Stacey bombing down the wing.
Mate, he'd still be a fucking great addition, wouldn't he? Probably at 38 years of age. What a player.
I always
Quality,
just found with Jack Stacey, the way he spoke about the club over the last 2 years, he sounded like he really enjoyed his time with us. And that's like the impression I got from just chatting with him for 15 minutes. Is that time for him is just made his career, really.
I think it's a lot easier for him to because he won the league twice. He's in a winning team, and it's a lot easier to enjoy your football when you're in a winning team.
Well, if we look back at last year, that Portsmouth-Peterborough game, I know Jack said he was at the Tottenham Ajax game. What were we all doing that night? Let's start with Steve Mataro. What were you two doing the night?
Oh, right. Hey,
we were on iFollow, weren't we, mate?
Yeah. I remember exactly where you two were, lad.
I remember exactly where we were.
Tell us the story. What were you two doing the night Peterborough beat Portsmouth at Fratton Park?
We were actually in bed, weren't we, Steve?
We were actually in bed, weren't we? Yeah.
In your bed, yeah. Drinking beer.
Yeah. Drinking beer, watching the game on iFollow,
yeah. Good night, though.
That was a good night. Cracking night.
I had to keep running over to the landing to shout down to your mum and dad, say, sorry about
I remember now, actually, yeah.
But they thought,
they don't care. They do not care.
It was a good night, though, man. It was just as good as a victory for Luton, wasn't it? To see it, really. Tuesday night, pissed up in Steve's house, great.
In his bed?
Yeah, in his bed. I think I cried that night.
I think you did.
Mate, I think a lot of Luton fans probably shed a tear that night. Portsmouth had that disallowed goal, and you watch it back now, and you just think, what on earth was he thinking, passing it to a guy that it was miles offside?
Yeah.
Thank fuck, though.
Yeah, thankfully he didn't know the rules that well.
Exactly. Yeah.
Dave, what were you doing this time last year?
I was sitting at home watching my phone, trying to sit in the living room because I didn't want to watch the scores, but my phone went off crazy all of the time. I had, I don't know, God knows how many texts come through, wrong result coming through, wrong score coming through, and then then just celebrated.
Yeah, didn't it come up Portsmouth scored or whatever? Then obviously straight away.
Down the other end, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was brilliant.
I was at a concert of some upcoming artists.
And don't tell us try and embarrass yourself, mate. It's fine. Don't worry.
I was literally at the O2 Academy. It's like this small venue in London, and that night I was like, we ain't gonna get promotion tonight. There's no way Portsmouth and Sunderland are both losing tonight. And then I get that text through on my phone saying Peterborough 2-0 up, and you're like, oh my God, it could happen. And then you get the text saying 2-2, and you're like, oh, maybe not. And then the 3-2 Portsmouth text comes in, and you're like, well, what's the point? And then suddenly you get text saying 3-2 Peterborough, that goal was disallowed. And you're just like, what? And then it just like hits you that it's going to happen. And it was...
That was a sick finish as well.
Such a good finish.
It was Tony, wasn't it?
Tony, yeah, he's a good player.
Tony.
And I remember I had a hotel in London that night, and I got back to the hotel, I had a few beers, and my video, which I made for Luton, went out online, and I just sat there and like watched that on repeat for the remainder of the night. Literally such a good evening. Completely unexpected.
I watched
that video the other day, actually, and there was so many good games we had last year. Like all of them, there's so many that stand out in there.
Not only that, the atmosphere of the video was brilliant too, and it did bring a lump to your throat, especially the ending of it. It got you really excited for the following season, didn't it? So I celebrated that way as well. I watched the video over and over and over. I had tears in my eyes because I've waited for that return. It's great.
That's it. Oh man, it's giving me goosebumps already just thinking about it. Oh, that's great.
So when you look back at last year, so many games that stand out. If we took away, let's say Portsmouth at home, Sunderland away, what game apart from them two stick out? Because them two are the obvious ones. What games stick out for you that season?
For me, it'd be the first game of the season, the Portsmouth game, when we lost 1-0.
Yeah. We battered them.
I don't think we deserve to lose. We played so well that game. And I thought that was the point to me. I thought we could do well this season. I thought we were so good. Did not deserve to lose that at all.
No, I know, for me, I know the one game that really stood out for me, and I said to you, I think I said to you all, I think the thing that turned it for us was that victory over Oxford in the last minute away. 2-1 away at their place on the Tuesday night or wherever it was.
Yeah, that was a good night.
And
that was a good night.
It's brilliant, wasn't it? Was it 90 plus?
Yeah, 90 plus. It was a crazy, crazy away game, wasn't it? A crazy away game.
Yeah, we had a goal disallowed, didn't we, 2 minutes previous to that as well.
Yeah.
It's mad.
Exactly the same thing. I sort of agree with you. The early games were great, but for me, another Tuesday night game in the rain when we went up to Bradford.
Oh, brilliant, Stacey! There you go.
It was a backs to the wall game, that one, and we really plugged away. In fact, every away game I went to last season, I think I enjoyed.
With that Bradford game, it was kind of like when a team's fighting at the bottom, and you go into a place like Bradford, it's a big stadium. They have 15,000 in or whatever.
Cold, wet Tuesday night or whatever as well.
Exactly. So windy, wasn't it?
Especially after 3 days earlier going all the way down to Plymouth for a 0-0 draw. That's a lot of travelling. And it's a proper ground out victory, innit? That 1-0 away win at Bradford.
Oh, it's brilliant, mate. I'll never forget it because, I think the thing we can't forget is the fact that you was looking around for a curry for about 45 minutes. Couldn't get a table, couldn't get a seat for a curry. You lot fucking whinged. I couldn't get a beer for about that time. Yeah, and that was a good away day, though. It was a good away day, but next time we got Bradford, fucking book a table.
When I was chatting to Jack Stacey, I said to him, and I feel like this is a fair point, is the first half of the season, I know Jones was in charge, but it's gone. I feel like most of it went quite unnoticed. We had some good results in that first half of the season. And you look at the 5-1 against Plymouth at home and the 4-0 against Bradford the following week. Do you reckon it's fair to say that first half of the season hasn't been given enough credit as it deserves?
I think both halves get credit, surely, don't they? You don't just look at one half of the season. It's a marathon, not a sprint at the end of the day. It's over 46 games, isn't it? So I don't think you can look at any part. Yeah, I don't think you can look at any part of the season and go, oh, that went unnoticed, because I think every single game, the consistency over the course of the 46 games, that's what done it. It wasn't just, January to April, May or whatever, or it weren't August till bloody January or whatever, but it was all consistency. I mean, we went through a little rough patch maybe towards the end of the last sort of 10 games. But, I mean, because you lot started bricking it, didn't you? Burton Way. Remember that? Yeah, remember that, boys?
Yeah, I remember that one.
If people don't know what I'm talking about, go back to the podcast after Burton Way and see these fuckers cry about it. Because I'm pretty sure it was on that. But
I swear that was you, Joe, read it. That was you, mate.
I don't think the evidence is there for everyone to see. But Dave, you remember it, didn't you? Remember that?
I agree with you totally. I think the beginning of the season for me, it was a bit... We knew we were playing well, but we weren't getting all the results we wanted to get. So people forget how well we were playing. That's what I feel about the beginning of the season. And it wasn't until we started creeping up the table and suddenly you kept thinking, you know what, we could do something here. Then you get to the playoff area. And once you're in the playoff area, maybe we're going to get playoffs. And then when we hit the top, we didn't leave the top. And that was the best feeling ever. And I agree with you, Pataro. At Burton away, after we had a few beers in that pub, and then, the podcast afterwards was very down because, we should have done better there. Mm-hmm. But then it didn't matter, did it?
But this is it, though, today. It still came good at the end, didn't it? So, there we go.
Yeah, always.
Brilliant.
So when Jack Stacey was talking about the ambitions of the squad going into the League One season, he said that they knew they were good enough to get the playoffs. But I think for fans, everyone would have accepted just staying up in League One. What were your expectations when we got promoted?
Not staying up, mate.
No?
More than that.
I
think top half.
At least playoffs, I was thinking, or top half, yeah. Top half playoffs.
Top half,
why not?
Definitely, yeah.
Well, mate, you would expect... You look at some teams in that league and you think, fuck me, that like who was it a couple of years back? Like Stevenage getting to I don't know the playoffs in League One. If they can do it, why can't we? They're shite. I keep going back to Stevenage, don't I? I hate them, but fucking scumbags. But yeah, like teams like Plymouth as well. They just missed out and whatever else the season before. What? They're nothing special.
But if you would have said we would finish mid-table in League One and then the following year we'd push for promotion, you'd have been like, all right, I'll take that.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But like, you didn't expect us to go and win the title that convincingly.
no
No.
one expected us to win the title, but everyone was
Especially with Sunderland in that league.
we challenged for promotion. We just come off the back of a really decent season, so let's challenge for promotion. If we don't get it, it don't matter. But let's not fight with relegation. So you want to avoid all that crap. So for me, it was like mid-table to playoffs was our ambition.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say there was a turning point in the season, Batara? I know you've already mentioned the Oxford game, but would you say we should speak about that Sunderland game? I know Dave's going to want to speak about how he got to Sunderland.
No, I'm not going to mention that I flew to the game.
Oh, you flew to the game? How did you fly? Tell us more.
How did you fly?
I think I've told you this before. Yeah, I flew
With my wings.
Luton to Dublin to Newcastle.
You know what? I think it was the game that pulled everyone together, and it is in that promotion winning video that the scenes when the players had just done their warm up, they look up at the crowd and you just hear this massive roar of just like, it just gives me goosebumps listening to it because it was that moment you just think
Crazy.
like, we're all in this together, and it's like Jack Stacey said as well that the manager's got, we're all in it.
It's a quick thing. You know, they said obviously there's 3,000 Luton there. I swear to God there was more than that. Obviously, I know that they said there was 3,000. Do you not think it sounded like there was more though? It was
Probably,
the noise.
Yeah, we were allowed.
It was incredible. You listen back to it. I see the video the other day. I think it was one that you maybe recorded or whatever. But nuts. Honestly, the noise, and you could hear it, and you thought, fuck me, 3,000 Luton fans doing that. Surely there's got to be more than that. It just sounded nuts.
We could have won that day as well.
I think it's one of my favourite away days I've had.
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed that weekend.
Oh, yeah. Oh, weekend was brilliant, wasn't it?
There wasn't many games we didn't enjoy last season. You know, not many at all. All the away games.
Even when we played bad. Sorry, Dave. Even when we played bad sometimes, we were hard to beat. We might have got a bit fortunate at times, but in the end, we deserved it because we defended well when we needed to. We just done everything right that season. That's what I felt. I felt like Luton, they done everything like right. Obviously, the added quality. Obviously, JJ coming through, Stacey on the right hand side, acting like a winger and a fullback. Top man. And everything about it was brilliant. Colley's work rate, fantastic.
Sometimes when you watch your team, you realise that they are something special for that season. And you know that when you go around thinking you're going to win every week, rather than hoping you're going to win every week. I think that's where we got to. By the end of that season, we turned up and you didn't fear anyone. You know, you wouldn't look like now. You look at the calendar now and you go, well, this weekend we should be playing Blackburn.
Yeah.
Yeah, Blackburn at home or something like that. You go, well, oh, actually, you know, that could be a dodgy one. Last season, it was Sunderland to start with and Portsmouth, and then who? That's how I felt about it.
Yeah.
I mean, that Peterborough game, go on. Sorry.
No, go for it, Steve.
I was going to say that Peterborough away game, the one we lost. I think that was one of the last games we lost before we went on that unbeaten run.
It must have been, yeah.
I think that was
that
was one of the turning points for me.
Yeah, but that day it was a really hot day. Had a few beers out there. We played terrible in the first half. Terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we could have turned it around second half.
Mm.
Turned it around. And you know, we played so well because we played so well at Portsmouth, and then we lose at that one, and we've drawn with Sunderland. You're just thinking this could be an absolute crap season because we're playing well and we're not getting our results. But once it started picking up, it never looked back. It was only going.
That's it. Everything went right, didn't it, after that?
Yeah, I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's great.
I loved it.
Well, it's like I said to Jack Stacey, you can't talk about last season without mentioning the Portsmouth game. It's an incredible night of football, isn't it? It's just an insane night of football. And it's like I said to Jack earlier as well. Some Luton fans said that's the best first half they've ever seen from a Luton team.
It was magnificent. So good.
Unreal.
We could have been
So
6-7
good
up at half time.
So many chances, didn't we?
Oh, mate. It was in the snow, wasn't it? Was it that one?
Yeah.
It was, wasn't it?
Yeah. Do I not sit next year?
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah.
It was
yeah.
a very good performance from us, and I would go with that. Was it the best we've ever seen? Mick Arthur said it was. It's the best first half I've ever seen? Possibly. But
Domination. We dominated them. They did not have a sniff in that first. It was, if you looked at them stats at half time, the possession, the shots, just everything was probably the best half. It's the perfect first half of football.
Yeah, it was. What was the score at half time, by the way?
1-0, wasn't it?
Was it 1-0?
1-0.
Yeah, so the
And then we came out second half and it was difficult, yeah.
So you say the perfect first half, but we only got one goal.
Oh, Dave, don't you dare be like that.
No.
Don't you dare.
Because then the Moncur thing, although I was glad that it would happen, but if we'd have got more than one goal, that game would have been over in the first half.
It should have been. It really should have been.
There's the drama.
Well,
on,
let's not try and find negatives, mate.
I love the drama because we won. I love the drama because we won. But you wouldn't have loved the drama if we hadn't have won. And then you'd be going, that first half, because we won, you're saying that was great. But if we didn't win, you'd have been going, that first half, we should have got 4 or 5 that first half. And we didn't.
Cost us.
Yeah, so it's the drama. Yeah. This is why we love football, right? This is why we watch football. And this is why you watch Luton Town, because we know they're going to put your ups and downs. You know it. But it's never going to take away that season was fantastic, ever.
It was.
Well, that's another thing I said to Jack in the interview was going into them last 5 or 6 games, was there any nerves? Because being a Luton Town fan, you know nothing is ever easy. We always seem to do things the hard way. And, you know, he said it got to that stage where it was like they've been on top for so long that it maybe did catch up with them, the nerves, and going into that Wimbledon game.
Of course it would. You're there to be shot at the end of the day, aren't you?
Exactly. But we in the end got through that pressure.
Yeah, I think the nerves got to me and you as well, Luke, a little bit. Burn away.
Hey, there we go. Hey. Here we are. I fucking never thought of it today. I'm off now. See you later.
I think alcohol might have had a part to play in that.
Bit of an influence,
Come on. We went to that Burton game expecting to win promotion that day. All we had to do was win.
At half-time, we would have been up if the scores would have stayed the same.
Yeah.
All right, that's when I got absolutely twatted by the back of someone's shoulder.
Yeah, you headbutted someone, didn't you?
By accident.
Had a bloody nose, yeah.
It was all over some poor bloke's coat and all over my fucking top, yeah.
I think that's the only disappointment the last season, though. The only disappointment is we weren't there to witness that moment. You know, if I'd done it would have been fantastic, wouldn't it? We'd have had a great day out. We'd have seen us to clinch that promotion. But it wasn't to be. And then it happened, you know, when we weren't playing, which didn't take the glory away. It just loved to have been there.
But I think it worked out in the end, didn't it, really? Because didn't we lift the trophy last game of the season?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
That could have been somewhere else, you know what I mean? So I think last game of the season, I think that just capped it off to win. Was it against Oxford 3-0, was it? It was 3-0? 3-1? Whatever it was, yeah. Was it Moncur again, wasn't it? Scoring a couple of goals or whatever.
Okay.
But
what a season, though, boy.
Eh?
What a season.
Oh, mate, it's brilliant.
Very good.
I can't think of a better season than that, really. Well, obviously, too young, yeah. That's it, isn't it, Dave? Too young. Small boy still. Actually, I'm not going to make a comment, actually. I'll leave it on there.
Well, shall we get into some Instagram questions today? We've got quite a few to get through. Tom says, how tough was it to get Stacey on the podcast?
It was all right, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was he abided.
To be honest, mate, Jack was so up for it when we messaged him on Instagram and we just said, as it's coming up to the anniversary of Luton being promoted, would you like to come on and chat? And he said, would love to chat about it. Like nothing else to do in lockdown. Why not?
Yeah.
So in the end, it was actually quite easy. But honestly, I can't speak highly enough of Jack Stacey because he's such a humble, down-to-earth guy. For a Premier League footballer, you know, to come and give me 15 minutes of his time, fair play to him. What a legend.
We've got a few more lined up as well, haven't we?
Well, Mark says, who do you have next as a guest?
There we go.
Who have you got lined up?
We've got a few more lined up, haven't we, Luke? I think that'd be telling.
I think you've got to keep that quiet.
I'll tell you what, how about we ask a few people who they like? If we can get them, then see what happens.
Yeah, that'd be interesting, actually.
Put it out on social media. How about that?
Okay.
Whatever
Who would you like for us to try and get on the podcast? Because we have a few ideas. I have spoken to like Ricky Hill in the past, and Ricky's like up for it when it suits him. So I've got to wait for Ricky to be available. But if you would like someone on the podcast, let us know who, and we'll try and figure out. But we've got some ideas which we're working on.
And some realistic ones, not like Nathan Jones or anyone like that.
Well, fuck him anyway.
We don't want to.
Lewis says, what are your thoughts on Nigel Adkins and Ryan Lowe being linked with the manager's job at Luton? This has been...
Ryan Lowe did a decent job, didn't he? At Plymouth. Was it Bury? Is it Bury?
Yeah,
before
Bury.
they went bust.
Yeah.
Hey, listen.
Before he did a decent job there.
There's a vacancy. You're going to get linked with every sort of person, aren't you? So if someone's not got a job, they're going to be linked to it. So wait and see.
I think we're running out of time for today, guys, on the podcast. It's been a good one. It's been great having Jack Stacey on the podcast. We hope, if you've listened this far, we hope you enjoyed the Jack Stacey podcast.
Big round of applause to Jack Stacey as well.
Yeah.
Well
man,
done, Stacey. What's up, boy?
Get us on social media, Owen the Town. Get us on YouTube. If you're listening right now on Spotify or SoundCloud, we're on YouTube. Go watch the video version of our podcast. And
don't do
that's
that.
pretty much it for today. Thanks so much for listening. Rate us 5 stars on iTunes, like us on YouTube, subscribe on YouTube, and we shall see you maybe next week. Maybe
thank you very much.
Depends. See you soon.